I am not sure what I'm more excited to talk about today. This insanely incredible episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi or Colin's celebration update.
I
Because
don't know what to do with my hands, Toby.
I've been looking forward to hearing your thoughts on Celebration because we let the audience know last week. And I'd like to point out we did almost 5 hours of show last week, me and Matt.
You guys worked as much as I did.
I wouldn't go that far. After hearing your breakdown just a minute ago, I don't think that's true.
we did almost 5 hours. Oh my god.
But so yeah, you've heard me and Matt's thoughts on Celebration enough, right?
Besides the last day, which we'll share together.
Yes,
today.
of course. But I'm very, very, very excited to hear Colin's thoughts on Celebration, everything that went down this past weekend. But before we get to that, we got to start somewhat a little bit serious. And it sucks that we even have to have this conversation, right? Again. But Moses Ingram put out an Instagram story a couple days ago with just dozens and dozens of very hateful, racist messages from quote unquote fans. And again, this doesn't need to be said, but we just, as a show, in a channel, just wanted to just say that we support Moses. We support the show. We support anti-racism. Let's just put it that way. We don't support any hate in any way, shape, or form. And I really appreciated too. As the day progressed, she just kept sharing the nice messages that she's been getting and the nice comments and saying that like the nice overwhelms the bad. But we just wanted to real quickly, just kind of as a show, just throw our support to Moses. I think she's great in the show. There's a difference between not liking her performance and liking her character and just being a racist asshole.
There's a huge difference between the people who are using that as a crutch to say fringe racist comments by saying, "Well, I can't even comment on her actual work in the show because people will think I'm racist if I think it's bad." No, you can think it's bad. It's not. But you have totally every right to think that a performance is bad.
Right.
You just have to, the person, just have to have the right, track of former, backtracking, or what do we call that? Past.
Background
of not being an asshole about it.
Yeah.
And then people aren't going to call you out on it. If Kevin Smith came out and was like, I just shouldn't really buy it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I thought it was a bit overdone, felt a bit Shakespearean. It just didn't seem to fit everything else that was going on. I'd be like, cool. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I appreciate your take. But when you come out here and you slander this woman who is a Yale graduate, a Yale acting school graduate, and y'all are coming out here shaming this woman like she is a piece of trash, shame on you. Shame on you. And props to Ewan for coming out. It's just absolutely amazing. Like his message. This is like the best Star Wars has ever handled it, and they're not really handling it like fantastically. Like I appreciate the posts and all this other stuff, but this is the first time they're really coming out strong because it really took them a long time to get on the Kelly Marie Tran train.
I was gonna say, where was this for John Boyega and Kelly Marie Tran?
We gotta not act like this is the first time either. Like the post I saw today that Chance Ellison reposted on Twitter, that was a white guy had tweeted 4 pictures, one of Billy, one of Sam Jackson, one of
I know John, and one of
John, and one of
I think it was Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. And it was like, we would have had this before. I'm like, do you not remember
what happened
about
to
a
John
black
Boyega?
stormtrooper when you dumb motherfuckers had never seen underneath a stormtrooper helmet for 40 fucking years? Are you what is the matter with oh God, I could just go all day. Oh, I need
Colin. Here. So you said Yale graduate. You forgot Emmy nominated.
Oh, keep going. Speak on it.
And here's the other thing. Here's what the people who are like, who, because I've seen this. Where was this energy for Gina Carano? Gina Carano compared wearing a mask to the Holocaust.
Yeah, you guys are just fucking morons. If you're out here doing that shit,
the fact that you see those messages and have a but this, but that, like, that says enough about you as a person that your opinion is invalid and you just need to stop talking, right?
And as Ewan said today, you are no Star Wars fan.
Right, exactly. And I think Moses put it perfectly. She's like, y'all are weird. Like, people who DM famous people, just in general, no matter what they're saying, is just a very strange thing to do. But let alone just sending just abhorrently racist things to this poor woman who's like in Star Wars, this big franchise. She's just living her best life, right? She just landed the role of her dreams, the role that's going to set her career path. You know,
generational wealth. Let's talk about that.
Right?
That's
yeah, I mean,
that's what this is for her.
It's just it sucks that we even have to talk about this, but we wanted to send our support to her. She'll probably never see this, but just as a show, I think it's important. And I've seen other Star Wars podcasts these last couple of days do the same thing. So just as a community, we need to come together around her, especially after the prequels and what Ahmed Best had to go through, and not necessarily racist things, but just being mean, being an icky person. Like, let's lift these actors and actresses up this time.
Put your toxicity in a back to tank. If you go chill in a back to tank. I hear they cause trippy dreams. Maybe you could figure out your problems in there. Come out a better person. Look at Boba Fett. I think he's a better person. I don't think he's a better bounty hunter after coming out of the back to tank. I think he might be a better person.
So yeah, we'll leave it at that. But before we get into Obi-Wan, like I said, star of the show, Colin, so much has happened since you were last on this program.
All right, so let me tell you how all this shit was going down.
Take as long as you need.
Okay.
I want to hear all of it.
So, folks who don't know, I was at the CAA conference baseball tournament all weekend, supporting the College of Charleston, doing all their videography stuff. While this was going on, Star Wars Celebration was going on. Great timing, CAA. Don't do that next year. Would appreciate that. I know
it's in the middle of April next year, so you're fine. It's the middle of April.
Folks, we are blessed. All right? Because let me tell you, my number one thing from Star Wars Celebration is the reunited tandem. This is going to be a hot take of Andy and Anthony of the Star Wars show.
Yes.
I am one of the biggest fans of the Star Wars show.
I stopped watching when they canceled them.
Every single episode. And oh my gosh, seeing them together on the first day was just like, look at me. I was just so, it felt like, oh, we're back. Like, oh, we are back. And Star Wars is back. And everything just started rolling in. I'm not going to lie to people. I was watching cell phone videos. I've joined Discord channels that now are just for leaks, okay? I've done some shady things. But you know what? That's what I used to do when I was 15, watching San Diego Comic-Con and trying to see what little things you could see on a tiny screen. And it really made me feel nostalgic. This weekend from head to toe was a nostalgia trip for the millennials. It had not been that for most Star Wars celebrations. Because if you really want to go back, The Force Awakens and the sequels were a love letter to the original trilogy. This celebration was a celebration of our childhoods, aging from 21, no, not even 21, like 23 to 36. If you're 23 to 36, that 13-year gap, that you are balls to the wall right now. They have everything for you coming through the pipes. It is so much fun. Let's go ahead and talk about this shit. Holy shit. Hera Syndulla's head. All right.
I love how we're starting there.
Got me so hot and heavy, y'all. I had never felt like that in my life. I was like, if that is not Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I will have a problem. All right, because
that's what we said,
bro. I already have issues.
We're on the same page. Yeah,
she already lives rent free in my head. If she would have walked out on stage next to Chopper, by the way, full size Chopper, which people were thinking, is this the first full size Chopper? No, it's not. He was in Rogue One, you silly mofos. And ha ha ha. This to me was a perfect celebration. Rivaling 20, whichever one they announced Thrawn for Rebels. That one smacked.
2017?
2016 or 17?
It was 2017 because we took a 2-year break and came back for 19.
Boom. That one where they announced Thrawn, out of control. this one, you might as well have, because that's basically what we're getting here. I am full send that we are basically getting a Rebels sequel show with Ahsoka. This is full blown now. We saw the live action version of the mural, which was like, oh my God.
Yes.
It caused Eric Voss from New Rockstars to trip up for the first time in a video in a very long time. He said something to the effect of like, this scene is going to take place like during, like he thought that scene was it. He might have misspoken, but it basically meant that it took place before A New Hope, and not that we know that scene takes place after Return of the Jedi. So, this is just going to be false. What else do we got? Tales of the Jedi. That sounds so dope. That's like somebody had an idea for a book and they were like, what if we just animated it? Let's do that more, please. Like the idea of young Dooku. I always loved that story. What was that Legends book about Dooku? There was a Legends book with Dooku. There was 3 stories.
I used to have that. I have the picture like in my mind.
Mace Windu, or telling the story of Qui-Gon Jinn, Yoda, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Count Dooku, because that's a lineage, right? That's like a fraternity of Padawan and Masters, which we never really talk about. That'd be really good, Star Wars. You guys should talk about that. How like my masters, like whatever. Okay. What else was there? Thursday, Mandalorian. Look, she's sitting on that Mandalorian throne. Like Bo-Katan, you need to chill. All right. Look, she looks good. She is killing it. That whole vibe is just like absolutely everything you have expected from Shook. I'm talking right now. It's about Matt. I've been gone for 5 episodes. It's not about Matt. It's about me right now. Okay. It's about me. All right.
I'm here, Shook.
Yeah, we're all here, but Colin has the floor for the remainder of the show.
Not the remainder of the show, but until it gets through Thursday.
No, I said take as long as you need, buddy. You got a lot to cover. You got a lot to cover.
Let's not act like we're going to get anything less than absolute perfection of Mandalorian season 3. I do not know if okay, we have to think about that. Mandalorian season 2 was already being made while Mando 1 was coming out. Okay. Yep. So there was no sense of like what the population, what the pop culture vibe of the show was. Okay. What was the main thing we all really, really, really wanted more of? More Mandalorians. Cool as shit was like seeing more Mandalorians. Guess what, bro? Season 3 is gonna be all Mandalorians. They're gonna be bros flying around, like rocket booster shotting each other. Like that's gonna be crazy. Seeing people fly up and God, this is gonna be absolutely bonkers. I can't believe that we're actually going to be able to see all of this shit on our couch. They didn't even talk about movies. They didn't even talk about the movies.
What is
We're
bonkers?
Just sitting on our couch getting all this shit for $7.99 a month.
I understand this is your segment, but I must interject. What's bonkers is that you have not even mentioned Andor yet.
Oh,
I thought that was going to be first.
It's amazing. I have so many thoughts. It looks so good. It may be the most practical Star Wars production since 1977. Original 1977. I truly believe that. The shots that I was seeing in that were landscape shots. They were real towns. I'm really beginning to tell the difference when we're sitting in the volume and when we're out somewhere, especially in the 2nd episode of Obi-Wan, where the 5th brother and 8 stormtroopers walk the same street 8 times, and they try to make me think it's different, and it's not, and they're just walking the same 8 steps over and over again in a different direction. Andor, Cody Gilroy is on his shit. All right, y'all. We just gotta let this man cook because I am ready. It looks gritty. It looks dirty, and I'm addicted to Diego Luna from Narcos Mexico. I've run out of Narcos Mexico, and I need more Diego Luna in my life. I can only watch Rogue One so many times because he's okay in Rogue One, but I feel like this is he's cool. But from what we learned, this is gonna literally lead up to what takes him to that planet we meet him on in Rogue One, which I'm super excited about. And with the confirmation that we are actively recreating comic moments now gives me hope that all the people who were worried that the Andor and K2SO comic was going to get rewritten, I think we're good. I really think that like we've now ascended to the right people are in charge. Like we really like Kathleen Kennedy. I think she's kind of figured it out. I used to shit on this girl all the time. I was not the biggest Kathleen Kennedy fan, and she has kind of turned it around to where she's put the right people in place and she's letting them make decisions rather than her judging their decisions. And I'm really, really, really on board with the direction that Lucasfilm is taking. Shout out to the Willow trailer. Willow trailer looked great. They threw that in there. And I have yet to see a video, like a high quality video of Harrison Ford coming out to see John Williams at the podium, but I've seen many photos and I've seen the performances around it. That must have been incredible. That's the kind of stuff where like, that's why you pay admission. That's the kind of organic stuff you just can't. So all the people that got the Funkos, fuck you.
Should have seen that.
That diamond Grogu is dope, and they had the 3,000 piece celebration Obi-Wan on the first day from last year that people were able to pick some of the scraps up from last year. Yeah, double birds, you guys. Number one thing besides the comeback of the Star Wars show, just the fan engagement on the live stage. I've always loved watching the live stage where they interview people, they bring them out, because people say some shit they're not supposed to say. That is where the people get in trouble. And my favorite thing that was said that was non-news related came from Sam Witwer. And this is how I'll close this out. Sam Witwer let it slip that every time he is a stormtrooper in any of these shows, productions, or movies, or whatever, he is talking about those TC starfighters. And it is now a real thing that they just put it in today's episode of Kenobi. As they're getting off the back of the transport, they're talking about the T-16. Like, nah, I like the T-15. The T-15 is better. And it just repeats and repeats and repeats. That's the kind of shit that's like, Sam's the bomb, Star Wars the bomb. Watching Sam and Matt Lanter. God, what are we talking about here? They're just sitting there on call doing like Kenobi and shit. And I'm like, yo, that's what we want. Actually, second thing, and everyone has to watch this. Giancarlo Esposito's live stage speech was better than any sermon I've ever been to in my entire life. That was like rivaling the Miracle speech. I'll get Matt to repost it from the Watt page. It was absolutely stellar. He is just inspiring, telling us that like Star Wars fans, give him energy, give him hope, because you come here to be positive and that's really why I feel like Moses posting all the positive posts and everything, and Ewan having all this support and Hayden having all the support that they didn't have. We are now the backbone. We are the vocal majority in this fandom, and we have to keep it positive and keep it strong and keep it going. And that was really what this celebration taught me, was that I really thought Star Wars was in trouble after episode 9. Not a fan of episode 9, right? And we're good, all right? Moral of the story is we're good here.
Heck yeah. No, I'm so glad that you mentioned the celebration stage, because I don't think I talked about that in any of our videos last week.
We talked about it a few times.
It was on fire. Like every guest was just in just Star Wars legacy actors and actresses, the new actors and actresses, producers, editors, Doug Chang. Like they had everybody, like everyone that you could think of that would be on a celebration stage was there. And that was one of my favorite parts about watching the live streams, because everything else wasn't live streamed, unfortunately. And me and Matt talked in depth about that last week. But no, the celebration stage was great. And I'm glad that you mentioned how good it was. And to see Andy and Anthony together again was awesome.
Didn't you just go to Disney World?
No, that's this month. I leave in 20 days.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you get to see Boba and Finnick.
Yeah,
no, that's only at Disneyland for now. For now, it's only at Disneyland.
They'll be there in like 10 days, bro. Yeah.
Well, no, because they're not
in like 10 days.
We'll see. It's
no. Okay, here's a quick thing. Marketing opportunity. Have both places be in different timelines.
That's a whole other can of worms.
I know, right? Oh no, I
Yeah,
know, right?
yeah.
But like, imagine if you could go to like different time. Come on.
No, I hear you.
We
but
got
talk
a
about
special.
Sunday.
Yeah,
We
have
a guest, and we got to talk about Sunday, so we can bring in our guest to kind of wrap up our celebration coverage for the year, and that is friend of the show, friend of the channel, Suge Knight. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on? What's going on? Look, I heard Colin talking. And it just got me hyped, and I wanted to talk Star Wars.
No, he got me hyped.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. If you know me, I'm actually not really a big Star Wars fan, as my daughter walks out naked. Yeah, I got to cover that. No, but I just hearing Colin talk about Star Wars, I got some thoughts, especially on the Kenobi series. I have some major thoughts, and so I just came in to hang out with you guys and talk some Star Wars. How you guys doing today?
Oh, doing great, doing great. But Sunday, biggest thing was
two things.
Okay,
so first off, we'll let Colin. We'll do this so Colin can sound off again. Visions got announced for Volume 2, which Toby and I are the ones who actually watched Visions.
I had 3 episodes left.
At the beginning and just sped through it. Colin's been taking his time out of fear there wouldn't be a Volume 2.
I don't know how to watch anime.
Like, he's the anime connoisseur of the channel.
You're gonna get more, all right? Like, anime goes away for like 22 months, and you're like, "Where's my shit? Like, really, where is it?"
So you thought you have 22 months to watch Visions, which is like.
They did have to organize 7 different studios. Okay, cut them some slack. All right, this isn't like one company.
Well, this time there's going to be studios from Ireland, England. This isn't just Japan studios.
To the Avatar people, you fucking coward.
There is a US one, so it could be. They haven't said who the studios are, but there's a US studio.
Avatar Studios is owned by Paramount Plus. I highly doubt they would let that happen. It's literally a Paramount Plus thing. So I highly doubt that would happen. But imagine a Star Wars story that looked like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Hey, Dave Filoni has the connections.
Oh my God, it is Dave Filoni. Never mind. It's going to happen. I'm manifesting this right now. Candle emojis in a circle, and then Avatar Studios makes Visions Season 3.
All right. Well, that's part 1. And part 2 was we got our Bad Batch trailer. Yeah. Bad Batch has a new look. Omega looks like she's aged up a bit. They got some new paint. Gunji's back.
Gunji. What a surprise that was.
And then we're gonna get the Emperor in it. So those 2 quick things.
I liked in that shot of the Emperor how the wide shot where you saw Omega on Coruscant. Like, so they're on Coruscant. Like, that's bonkers. And they're still rebuilding the Senate Hall, which is a wild transition to what we see in Andor, where it's completely done and it's empty. It's just Mon Mothma talking to an empty crowd.
No, I love that parallel that you just made. I didn't really make that connection in my head. No, that's really cool.
I had a lot of bus ride time to watch all the trailers over and over again.
Yeah, you had some time to think on all of this stuff, really. But no, I really, really love the Bad Batch, like, a lot. And I miss them on my television screen. And so I was very happy to finally get a trailer. And
it's officially underrated now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Officially underrated.
So the Bad Batch takes place at what again?
Like,
don't bash me.
Order 66.
Yeah, it's literally just weeks, months.
I am not the biggest Star Wars fan.
So the storyline picks up of these group of clones who are like the
didn't have the chip
unit, and they all have
because they're genetically modified. They don't have a work. They do have it, but it's not a working chip.
It's not properly right. So the story takes them back to Camino, where the clones are made, and then the story kind of goes from there.
Yeah.
No, it's.
I've heard nothing but good things from it.
No, it's really fun. It's only 12 episodes in the first season.
I thought it was 16.
16. No, 16. Yeah, you're right.
And the first 20 minutes.
The premiere is over an hour, so take that into consideration. You could easily watch it in a day or two. I think it's a lot of Star Wars fun. It's really starting to connect the dots between the events of Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, kind of like Kenobi's doing right now. And as Matt, you said, Omega's a little bit older. She's got some armor. She got a little helmet. Like she's officially like part of the group now, and I really love that. The trailer is a lot of just flashy stuff, right? Like there's not a lot of like setting the scenes for where we are right now. Commander Cody makes an appearance, which is very cool. We haven't really seen him at all since Revenge of the Sith, so he seems to be working with Crosshair. Yeah, shout out to Commander Cody on repping on Colin's shirt. Gunji, like we said, we were all so concerned after Order 66. Like, what happened to the younglings from that arc? And Gungi is still kicking, so that was really cool.
Get that man on the path. Get my man on the path.
Oh, right. Yeah, we'll get to that for sure. But yeah, man, I'm really excited for Bad Batch to come back, and it is officially airing in the fall sometime. Mm-hmm. I would guess. I mean, we play the Star Wars "When is this show going to air?" game every single week, so I'm just going to say the middle of October. I think that's fair.
Because we're getting 12 weeks, Colin, so that's going to be a while. They announced 24 episodes.
Yeah, Andor's 12.
I don't know if it's a 24 episode season.
No, it's 12 episodes season 1, 12 episodes season 2.
Yeah, like so they already shot the other 12 too. Like
they've shot the first 12. They're shooting the other 12 currently or later this year, they said. But we're gonna have 12 weeks of
too, because then so you do August 31st?
We get 2 episodes August 31st.
Out of 12. So then
10 more weeks
following.
after that.
So that's a month and a half. That takes you to the middle of November.
That's 2 months, bro.
I would start the Bad Batch, and then the Bad Batch would lead you into Mando.
I think Bad Batch is going to run parallel with Andor. I mean, stuff is going to have to eventually. I mean, look at all the stuff that was announced. There's no way they could spread that out before they run into each other.
No, they can.
September, and
they can because as long as you don't have Star Wars overlapping as much, you can do Marvel and Star Wars overlapping, but I don't think you're ever going to get 2 of the same.
I mean, Tales of the Jedi's confirmed for fall too,
but that's also a shorts. It's not a full series,
and they might just drop all 6 episodes at once, like they did with Visions. Yeah. So that's a good point. That's fair.
And then lastly, we might be hopping the pond next year, boys. We'll see, but
you're way
Celebration Europe in London.
That's in April.
Yeah.
Yes.
Less than a year away. Better start planning now. Putting your doubloons into a safe.
10 months.
Save up.
Hey, flying there, right?
They just announced it. That's got to be so much movies.
Ahsoka premiere probably. Ahsoka premiere probably.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, news-wise, what else are you going to do?
Andor season 2. And let's see, Andor season 2, Ahsoka premiere.
My point being, this was a lot of television this year.
Yeah, and it'll probably be movies and second season announcements and things like that.
Yeah.
So much for Orlando. Had my hopes up.
Really?
So did I. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Matt was very confident in Orlando.
Yeah, I had to talk about that.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant Morlando. My bad. I literally thought you said Morlando.
Orlando. I mean, we could talk about Lando. Kathleen Kennedy basically said Donald Glover's super duper uber busy, and that's why Lando isn't really close to production
no offense
yet.
to Kathleen Kennedy, but I want the last Childish Gambino album before I want to.
No, that I second that. We can wait for Lando. I'm not in any rush for that.
We can wait. I did just get a Kendrick album, so I'm good for like 8 months.
Okay.
We ready?
Anything else from Celebration? Anyone have any thoughts from Celebration? Let's wrap up our Celebration coverage for the
Colin, real quick.
I actually
should go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say I live in California. I hate that you guys come here for Celebration because you clogged up the damn freeways. Just saying. Shout out to everybody, all the Schmodown people that came, and then I hope they all feel better because a lot of them got COVID. So I hope they all feel better. So
the DeMolantos had COVID. I don't know who else caught it.
Yeah, I've seen a couple people, but shout out to all of them for coming. But go ahead, man. I apologize. Didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was gonna say real quick, Colin, thoughts on Jedi Survivor because that's about the only thing.
Oh yeah, how did I forget that?
Woo!
Is that the game?
That shit.
Yeah.
That shit. Woo! I still smell it. Like, oh my god! Like,
you didn't like it?
Who's
No, he's saying fire. He smells the
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
smoke.
who's in the back to tank?
That's what I was going to ask you. Who's in the back of the
I think it's a
wanted
new
to be a new
character.
Star
No.
Killer.
I think it's a new character.
Let it just be a redo of Star Killer.
No, I think I think they're two separate things. The person in the tank, I think, is a new character, but I can totally see Star Killer being reimagined for this game as another Inquisitor type character.
Can we not make new characters? Because apparently, if you do, people get pissed off and start doing crazy shit. So can we not do that? I mean, I like new characters, but
No,
apparently
I
Star Wars
like new
fans don't.
characters.
I'm 1,000.
Yeah, apparently Star Wars
That's the guy
fans
that thought it
freak
was
the hell
Kanan
out.
Jarrus on Twitter, and I had to tell him, I was like, it's not Kanan Jarrus, bro. I think he's like 13.
Right. But that leads us into our Obi-Wan Kenobi discussion. We're not going to skip to that part yet. We will get there, but I'm just going to warn you all now. It's in the title. This is a spoiler discussion. If you've not watched this episode yet, like the video, save it for later, and come back after you watch the episode. So,
Can I ask a favor, Toby?
1,000%.
Can we go
Go
back?
ahead.
Can we go back just an episode?
Sure.
I really want to get. I really want to get this.
Colin hasn't been able to talk about the first two.
I haven't
So
talked
go
about
ahead.
it.
Oh well, this is perfect. Again, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I know a little bit of it, but I just want to kind of, because I sent out a tweet because I ranted about this shit. And I just want to get maybe Colin, you and Toby, you know more than, and Matt, you know more than Star Wars than him. But am I mistaken? Obi did not know that Anakin survived.
No,
he thought
did
he
not
killed
know.
him.
He did not know.
Okay, and
I'm
people
sorry,
are like, how
if you walk away from somebody,
that's
And
burning.
they're burning.
They cut their legs off.
literally
I'm
burning.
sorry. I'm assuming you're dead.
I'm literally
Right.
assuming you're dead.
Now,
is that
I
on
will-
Obi-Wan for not like fucking.
He should have
going
double
for the
tapped.
head.
You
Yes.
should have double
It's
tapped.
very much on Obi-Wan for not going for the head. But
He
yes,
should have
you
watched.
are correct.
He should have watched Zombieland and double tapped. Okay,
Yeah, you gotta double
let's
tap.
just be honest. But
Technically, he did like quad tap. He triple tapped him. He took both legs and an arm.
took both legs out.
He took both
no.
legs and an arm. He made
But
money
I've been
from
seeing
that
a lot of
place.
these videos, man, of people complaining, like, how did Obi-Wan not? And again, I don't know
How
much
did he
about
not
Star.
know? He literally went into force hiding.
Thank you,
He-
thank you.
as
Thank
you're
on
seeing
a
in this
planet
show,
that he does not want to go near because that's where he lived his childhood, that's where his
the
mother's
one
buried.
place he knew that Vader probably wouldn't go around, and it's just baffling to me that people just like can't grasp like.
But not only that, he shut himself off for the
disconnected from
Force.
Mhm.
You watch him in that episode when he saves Leia, he's literally having an issue.
He's
You
struggling.
talk about one of their. He's struggling. He shut himself off to the Force, and it plays itself perfectly, and it makes more sense. It makes Luke's arc in Return of the Jedi way better because he did what Kenobi couldn't. He brought back the guy that he said was unredeemable, which we're going to see in this series. We saw it in this episode. He fucking snapped some kid's neck. Come on, he snapped some kid's neck.
Nuts.
This dude is kind of past redeemable, but Luke brings him back. But the common sense stuff of like, well, how would he have known, or how did he not know? He literally at the end of this episode goes, Anakin, and then Vader feels him and is like, oh, I know you're alive now, so now I'm gonna go looking for you. And people have this hard time.
He opened
Yeah.
his mind. The
And
second
this-
he
and
opened
this-
his mind, and then even then, Reva was even able to sense him better in the whatever the ship
In the warehouse.
they were
the
in,
showdown.
Yeah.
The showdown.
the showdown, and she was able to sense literally right where he was. Like,
Yeah.
also, I have a whole other thing. If dude was able to sense on a fucking desert where the kyber crystals were, you did not leave a mark. All right. So it has to be the kyber crystal thing.
Yeah, that's what
also-
Toby and I are talking about.
Reva should just be able to sense where your fucking lightsaber is at the same time. Like your lightsaber's on your hip, bro. Like, it's right there. Like, she should be able to feel that shit.
Yeah,
too.
yes,
She seems
yes
pretty
and no.
aware. She's very
Yeah,
force.
yes and no, because what
Mhm.
what Toby and I were talking about is it's realistically the Force users' connection to their own kyber crystal.
We could argue that, but I could take that for an answer. Yeah, it's arguable but acceptable.
I mean,
How about
she
that?
also
that's a good-
clearly
yeah,
has-
arguable but acceptable.
She's clearly her force, talent. I guess, is reading people's minds. Like
Same
she
as
can
Leia.
really get in there, right? So I think in that moment that she's clearly reading Obi-Wan's mind, his presence. That's why when she says Lord Vader's looking for you, she hears Obi-Wan in his head be like, Vader, oh, Anakin, oh, he's alive. And then she's like, oh, you didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was
Yeah.
such a huge moment, right? Talking about how Obi-Wan didn't know that
Oh, it's
Anakin was
huge.
still alive. Like that, in the way that Ewan plays that scene is so good.
It's
right?
almost like you
Amazing.
watched Ahsoka do it in Rebels.
Yeah, it was very similar, right? And which
No,
is,
it's
I mean,
am-
that's Star Wars. That stuff happens all of the time, right? But before we get into this third episode, anything else from you two who are just now
Go ahead,
kind
Sean,
of
'cause I know
catching
you're
up?
trying to get a word in.
Oh no, it's fine. I just don't understand. Like, it's 2 episodes, you guys. 3. Now we're in 3. Let it play out before you start making. Like, if you, I understand people are like, "Well, I don't like the way this actress is doing it." Fine, that's fine, that's fine. But to sit there and be like, "Oh, well, her story's not good," you
It's not
literally
done yet.
have not finished. Let it finish, and then you say, "You know what? I don't like the way Leia's being played. She's too smart for to be that age." I have. No. I'm not saying her story. The arc is good because you know where it ends. You know what she's going to become. She's 10 years old. I have a 7-year-old daughter. They ain't that smart.
Yeah,
okay?
she's not force sensitive, and her parents weren't the fucking.
But she wasn't tapping. But she wasn't tapping it. But she wasn't tapping into the force yet. She hasn't tapped into
Yeah,
the
no,
force.
Leia is. She
literally
scenes
is.
where
Doesn't
she's
know.
talking. When
She
she
doesn't
doesn't
know
know.
she's using it.
So that
Yeah.
scene where she's talking to her cousin about,
But
oh,
that-
he's
but
like,
that
you're not
has
a real
nothing-
Organa.
One at a
I know. I
time.
understand what you're saying, but it's still. She's just too smart for her age. I'm not saying I'm like, oh, bashing it.
Doesn't
No,
mean
I'm not.
she's smart.
The way she talks, 7-year-olds don't talk like that. Or 10.
Leia
sorry,
does.
10
Leia
years.
does. And look at A New Hope. She's
No, her arc.
in
Her
that.
arc. No, not the sassiness. I don't have not the sassiness.
You came
It's
here to
the
ask
way
questions, so we're gonna
she
give you
talks.
answers, right? You came
Yeah.
here to ask questions. We're going to give you answers. 1, her parents are 2 of literally the most talented people in their craft in the entire world. Her brother, give him his whatever. He's alright at what he does. She is living in a way better situation. She does not leave the castle. She does not, or whatever you want to call her, a princess. She does not leave the palace. All she does is study, read. We know this from the books. I've read multiple books that confirm that she is literally being trained to be the youngest senator in the history of Alderaan. That is what her parents wanted her to be. To
I
take her as
don't
far
disagree
away
with
from
you.
this stuff. So I know
don't dis-
plenty
Yeah.
of 10-year-olds who have been so you're telling me a 10-year-old piano like she is a prodigy. That's what
No,
you
she's
have to-
absolutely. I'm not, again, Colin. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I, as a person, as a parent, look with the way she's talking. I'm like, man, she's a little too smart for herself. Not a bad thing. She plays, especially in this episode 3 when they're on the when they drop off the stormtroopers.
You just made it
the
seem like it was
transport.
an issue that she can't.
Oh
be there.
no! I'm not saying like I have an issue with it.
Okay,
I'm just
just
saying
need
as
to
a
clarify
person,
that, 'cause
like
that's
I'm
like-
as I'm
how you
watching
say
it,
it, like,
as I'm
so-
watching it, I'm like, damn, she's a little too smart for that age. But the way she's playing it, because I know what she becomes later, it makes sense. The arc makes sense.
Mhm.
Because
Like,
think
it
about
makes
it this
sense.
way:
So-
she's only 9 years. From
Is it 9 or
standing
10?
next to Tarkin.
9.
And-
She's
no.
Okay,
10
9 years
old.
from away.
She's 9 years from.
She's 10 years old.
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
10 years old, but she's 9 years away from standing next to Tarkin and watching that planet blow up. So that is a very logical stretch that she's already this smart, and she's a senator, or was she a junior senator?
She's
Did they
about
say
to go to
junior-
Junior Senate. Yeah.
Yeah, junior senate, right? In 77 Star Wars, like that is I think it's done extremely well. And then what really got me, and we'll get to this later, is this. No. We'll just talk about that later, because I really think that there's a sound cue that confirms that she is actively force sensitive, and there is I believe, a passage from the Star Wars encyclopedia, the big fat one, of her saying that she has force insight, that she can read people. So she's like the ultimate politician,
There
because
is.
she
I
can
remember
read
that.
what every person's emotions are, and she's able to break people down easily. she's like she's the prodigy of politics, but you know, she's not in our world, and we kind of need that right now. But Shug, on this show, before we talk about an episode, I do my best in 60 seconds to break it all down. So, who's got a clock? Toby, you got a clock?
Hold on. Give me 2 seconds, and I will have the clock pulled up in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, flashback to Smash Cut on Mustafar, where Vader rises up from his back to tank, and it's just looking Vader as fuck. Then he has a hologram meeting with the third sister, where basically he's like, if you get me Kenobi, I'll make you Grand Inquisitor. Bet. Smash over to Obi-Wan. He's meditating, still looking for Qui-Gon, can't seem to find him. And him and Leia travel to the planet of Mapuzo. And Obi-Wan explains all this shit about how it used to be this other, it used to be happy here, but now it's sad because the
30
Empire's
seconds.
here. He sees Anakin in the sand. He hates sand. Avoiding, trying to sneak past the Empire. Third sister arrives at the Fortress Inquisitorius. Holy shit, Fortress Inquisitorius. That's all I got to say about that. We'll talk about it later. She goes to catch Obi-Wan. They end up finding the chick from Game of Thrones. She helps him. She finds out that they find out that Quinlan Voss was on this planet, and a bunch of other Jedi were on this planet trying to figure out how in the hell we can get safe. And they're basically on the Underground Railroad of Jedi now, which is pretty sick. But guess what? Vader's here, and you're kind of fucked. Because Vader comes around literally snapping citizens' necks for literally just walking out of their houses, and it's absolute mayhem. He ends up running into a dude named Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ever heard of him? And they are going to fight. Vader gives him the cowardly lion. I can fight you with one hand behind my back. Put it up, put it up. And he just takes him down with one hand and beats the hell out of him, and then lights a fire with his lightsaber that is absolutely insane. The droid who helped at the safe house then somehow drags Obi-Wan away without any of the stormtroopers or Darth Vader jumping over a fire to go get him. And episode ends.
I mean, that was close. You're a minute 50, so
you know what? It was a lot.
It was a lot to cover.
It is a lot to cover.
Where I want to start with this episode specifically, thank you, Colin, for your breakdown. As always, we appreciate you. I've been racking my brain since Hayden Christensen was confirmed for this show, right? How is Hayden going to perform inside of the suit? We know he's in the suit. He's marching around. He's doing the stunts, we assume. But how are we going to get Hayden Christensen, the actor? I still don't have that question answered. But my other question was the voice, because James Earl Jones had not been confirmed for this show yet. And we see in the end credits that he is credited in this episode. However, I don't think that was James Earl Jones today. I think that was an amalgamation of James Earl Jones' voice tracks from the past 45 years on top of AI, on top of just 2022 technology.
We'll find that out in the making of the.
No, this stuff.
I do think it was him.
I think it was him.
There were ways that the words ended that made it. I was like, okay, that's him. It's not an amalgamation. It's not a AI that we've seen in Top Gun Maverick or with Luke. There's too much emotion.
Yeah, earmuffs. I've not watched it yet.
There's too much emotion in the performance for it to be AI.
But he does it. He sounds like he did 45 years ago. If you look at the Rogue One Vader, that's not the same that we're getting right now. In terms of
at the same time, different directors. And also, what people forget to realize is you can mess with audio. You can move clips closer together so it sounds like a more straightforward sentence. It's not like you have to match a mouth or anything. It's straight up audio, voiceover. There's a lot more you can do with it. I've been able to edit podcasts to make something that had a lot of buts and ums sound like one coherent statement that you would never be able to guess. Hey, that's been edited together. It's just one of those things.
I don't know if I agree. I again, like you said, we will find out.
Speculation, Toby. It's all speculation.
It's just this stuff is super interesting to me, and I was concerned.
Talk about the show. We watched Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi fight today, and you're sitting here talking about Darth Vader's voice.
I wouldn't call it here. Listen, I would not call that a fight. I would call that Obi-Wan running.
That was definitely not a fight. Yeah, that would be like how Matt would be when I approach him.
If we
like he's on the ground, he's backing up.
It wasn't a fight.
It was not a fight. That was not a fight. That's the older brother beating up on the the younger brother getting on it. Yeah, but it felt like the older brother beating up on the younger brother.
Right. Vader was toying with him. Like Vader could easily ended it in 10 seconds, but he was toying with him because he wants to capture him, he wants to torture him, and we saw a little bit of that at the end of this episode where he dumps the minerals on the ground, lights it on fire, and chokes Obi-Wan and throws them in. That was insane.
And I think one of your critiques, Colin, was like, well, why was he just standing there when the fire was? I don't believe he really he knows he's out there now, so it's gonna play into New Hope where Kenobi finally accepts all this stuff, shuts him off for the Force. Maybe where Vader thinks he did kill him. We don't know, but I think Vader, like Toby said, Vader just wants to fuck with him, like hardcore. Because think about it,
he wants to torture him.
And
he wants to torture him.
The exact opposite of what Anakin Skywalker would do. We know Anakin Skywalker to be a hot-headed flyboy who will go in, run in hot to a situation, and it really seems like Vader is the exact opposite of that. Like every time, how many times have I've seen Vader jump, and it was in a video game, like real jump, jump, like that thing he does in Empire Strikes Back where he goes wee, like no. I've seen the man make leaps. All right, so I know he can do it, and he's a machine. And from reading Lords of the Sith, that book really, really, really goes in depth of how Anakin uses the suit to its utmost advantage. I guarantee you, Anakin was not fighting. That was the suit. He was using the suit there, and it was just because it was his right hand, right? He was fighting with his right hand.
Using his right hand.
Mechanical arm, right?
Well, I think both of them
are mechanical.
No.
Yeah, and I think
lost his hand, and it was already mechanical, and it was crawling up. Left hand's mechanical.
Right hand was already mechanical. Left hand was the one that got put on at the end of episode 3.
Okay, so he was fighting him with his good hand. Never mind, he was fighting with his good hand. Yeah, he was fighting with his good hand.
So
that just seemed like so. Yeah, it really did feel like I was watching a horror movie. Like it felt like someone was playing with their food, like the Warriors.
Well, even when he talked to him, when he said when Obi asked him like what happened to you, he's like I'm what you made. But the way he said it though, you're like,
dude, the lines of dialogue and between those interactions, really everything Vader said just had so much power to it, right? In more ways than one. And I've talked at length about how I really love and respect how little Vader has been used in Lucasfilm properties since Disney acquired Lucasfilm. And it's all built up to this, right? Where we finally get to see Vader like at the top of his game, at his most angry, right? He's finally got his old master who he thinks betrayed him in his grips. And you just see just all of the anger and hate that's built up over 10 years, finally kind of coming to a head. And if it wasn't for Tara, kind of saving his skin, I think Obi-Wan would be toast at this point. But I would also like to say they're going to fight again. They're going to fight again. The last episode.
On my birthday, bro. June 22nd. My birthday is June 23rd. All right. Like that is the best birthday present ever that I'm going to watch Darth Vader and hopefully fully go in Obi-Wan with probably Qui-Gon behind him in Force Ghost form being like, let's kick this motherfucker's ass.
By the way, let me get this straight. Colin gets Obi-Wan finale. Toby gets Andor premiere. Matt gets nothing.
Oh,
Matt, shut up.
I love how
the Andor premiere is on Toby's birthday. That's why I say that.
Get it too. It's your present too. It's not like I only get to watch it. Like you get to watch it. So that's not even a good present because everybody gets it.
So I love how we skipped to the very end. There's so much other great stuff happened before that.
I apologize.
No, it's fine. That was obviously what everyone wanted to talk about, and that's fine. We got it out. Vader's scary. It's a scary.
I mean, even in the episode, like when you see him getting suited up, when that helmet drops. and he
By the
starts
way-
to walk. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
I called that opening almost to a T. This is like the second week in a row. I called how
I went
last week
6
would
for
end.
6 on predictions, by the way, in our hotel room, my roommate and I called the episode starting with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away from fucking half court.
I would give that to you on a technicality because that was the
Get
montage.
the fuck out of here. It was
That-
the recap that started the episode, bro. Get out of
But
here.
the recap was skippable. I see why Toby says that.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
because you know what's true is the people at Celebration didn't see it.
Yeah.
The people at Celebration did not get to see that. So, okay, I'll get you on that technicality.
All right.
Also, I had Obi-Wan not lighting his lightsaber.
I had that.
If you had Leia, you're a sicko.
I had Leia.
I think Matt's been secretly reading leaks and he's trying to
No, 'cause
trying
I don't
to
think
Matt just
bamboozle us.
realized why they've released 3 Leia books in the last 2 to 4 years.
Mhm.
Yeah, I get you, Matt. That was a good,
But no, Toby, if I didn't go 50% today, I would agree. I would be like, yeah, but no, I went 50% today. I was not.
Okay, let's talk about my favorite character of the episode, and that's Freck. Shout out to Freck.
Zach Braff.
What a guy, right?
Not
Like
That was Zach Braff.
Braff?
that was.
It
Oh, I thought it was Seth.
Everybody
I
saw
didn't know. I thought it was
people. So they did the same thing they did with John Leguizamo in Mandalorian season 2, where they just changed his voice. But that is Zach Braff, just like Uncar Plot's freaking Simon Pegg. Never would guess that.
No, I love the idea of Obi-Wan and a little Leia basically doing the Galaxy Far, Far Away equivalent of hitchhiking on the highway with their thumbs up, trying to get a ride from a tractor trailer. That's essentially what this was. And Freck seems like a nice guy at first. Like, yeah, I'll give you a ride into town, no problem.
Piece of shit.
and then you know they're sitting there. They think they're like, oh, we're gonna get to the spaceport. It's gonna be fine. And then he picks up like 5 stormtroopers, and then the tension really starts to get raised up. You're like, oh no, you know what's gonna happen to Obi-Wan and Leia. And I just love everything about this whole scene of them going back and forth. You know, oh, we're from Tall, we're farmers, we were visiting family, and then I love the, you know, Obi-Wan being on his toes where he accidentally calls Leia by her name, and they're like, wait a second, like you called her Leia. I thought her name was, I don't even remember what her fake name was. Luma. Yeah. And I love how he's like, yeah, that was her mother's name. I get confused. You know, she looks just like her. And in that moment, you're like, yes, he's lying, but he's really telling the truth, because we keep seeing these themes in these last couple episodes where Obi-Wan looks at Leia and sees Padme. And I love how so much of the original trilogy was, you know, Luke Skywalker was so much like Anakin, like his father. We're seeing so much of the Leia being just like Padme, and I love all of that, and they really aren't like holding back on that. And I hope we continue to see more of it as Leia being, you know, kind of the second main character in this show. So I'm just gonna throw it out to you guys, like that scene specifically and that interaction between them two, and Obi-Wan constantly seeing, you know, his old friend Padme, Anakin's wife, in this little girl. Like, how did that resonate with you?
So that's the part where I heard the like force sound when she's like reading his mind about when he's lying. And when there's a moment where the air kind of leaves the room when they do like the force sound, and man, if she was able to learn from the age of 10, she'd have, boy, she's so talented. The little girl from Bird Box,
So good.
So good. Like acts like she's 15, like, you know, like all 8-year-olds do, but she's doing it so well. And I'm just taking it for what it is. I really don't have a lot to say other than I'm just so enjoying every second of them together, because it's something you really never thought you were going to see. And that was always my biggest thing that we always talked about, was what was going to take Obi-Wan off world. What would be the thing? Well, this is it. And this is absolutely spot on stuff from this crew. Deborah Chow is crushing this show.
And I didn't even mention that in that same exact scene where Obi-Wan's kind of coming, or he's trying to, you know, bring Leia into his world and just for them kind of find some common ground where she asked him like, are you my real father? And he's like, no, I wish I was. But, like you, I had an original family. I had a mother. I remember her shawl. I had a dad. I remember his hands. And he's like, I
remember
think
a
there was
baby.
a baby there too, which I don't know if they're setting some seeds there.
Cow.
No. So I think what that actually goes back to is a reference from the original book of Return of the Jedi, where the original idea was that Owen Lars was Obi-Wan's brother. But then they kind of backtracked on that and made Anakin his stepbrother in the prequels and connected the dots that way. I don't think we're gonna get a Obi-Wan Kenobi
No, I agree with you. But what I was saying was that
or Toby-Wan.
there you go. But no, he's basically saying like, listen, I had an original family too. I don't remember much of them, but then the Jedi became my new family, and I love him just kind of coming to her level and them kind of being able to see each other's perspectives in that way. It adds so much to their relationship and added so much more backstory to Obi-Wan, where like he remembers his original family, but the Jedi became his new family, and I'm hoping, especially what we're going to see in the next episode, I think he's going to rediscover that family and have that hope and trust in the Force again and in the Jedi in general. So Shug, you have any thoughts on that whole scene with Trek in the space tractor trailer?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good scene. It really helped. Like you really see, obviously, with the couple episodes, and especially when Vader shows up, Obi-Wan is like struggling hard because he really thinks that everything is because he screwed up. Obviously, it shows the flashbacks of Qui-Gon telling him, "Hey, train the boy for me," so he did it for him, and now they're in this situation. Whereas, if he remember in the beginning in the prequels, Obi-Wan says, you shouldn't train him. They said, no, we shouldn't do it. Don't do it. And if he just did that, maybe none of this happens. So you can see he's struggling with that. But also it's sad because Leia looks at him and is like, are you my dad? And in Obi's head, like, no, but I know your dad. And I cut his legs off.
He can't say anything.
He can't say anything.
He wants to so bad, but he just knows he can't.
Yeah, he can't say anything. And then, he's in a situation of, like, it's a weird situation because I kind of know where he's coming from, because it's like, if I don't train Anakin just stays a slave. You're probably not here. None of this happens. And, whatever. But in a sense, it's a gift because you are here. Your brother's here. Because I trained this boy and he hooked up with his mom with your mom when she was like 9. You were 9. Your dad was 9 years old, being a little pervert, trying to talk to a 20-year-old, and
she was 12. I thought she was
12. She was 16, if I remember correctly.
Okay, 5 years different, 6 years different, 7, whatever. But so you're here for that reason. There's a reason why you're here. So he's in that tough spot. It's like, I'm damned if I did.
In episode 1.
Split the difference, Toby.
Okay, so it's a 5-year difference.
Yeah, 5-year difference.
That's not bad. It's really not.
Yeah, it's not bad. Until you think about it, he was in 5th grade, she was in 7th. Then you're getting a weird.
Anakin's 9, she's 14.
Okay, but it's the thing for Obi-Wan. It's damn if you do and damn if you don't. You know, and then he can't talk about it. Like, think about it this way: he sat there for 10 years, had to work, had to watch a child from far away, and not be able to talk to anybody about what the fuck went down. Like, he can't talk about, my apprentice decided, screw all of us, I'm gonna go to the dark side. As my kids scream as they came in the house, I apologize.
Your kids going to the dark side.
Like, he can't talk about all the people that got murdered, how he watched his apprentice on film murder children. And we've never really thought, like, it's funny, we talk about it, like Anakin killed children, but we never seen it. we did see it in this episode where he snaps a kid's neck.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy. So Obi-Wan is dealing with all this, and he can't talk about it. So I see the struggle in him of what is he do, why he doesn't want to, like, think about it. He was a Jedi, he was a Jedi master, and now all of that's gone for one simple decision.
And he's like going to his shrink's house every day, but the shrink's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like he tries to talk to Qui-Gon every day for some help, and he can't get any of it because he doesn't realize that he's still closed off. Like,
Yeah.
so when
emotionally and
that's
everything.
going to happen? When
I
is
think
Liam
episode
Neeson
5
gonna be like?
I think episode
Shug,
5.
I'm right there with you. I'm thinking.
Now, here's what
Episode 5.
here's what I think. Here's where I think it's gonna go. Right. So he meets Tara. Tara, we think, is this Imperial commander who's about to arrest him and take him to Vader. We assume, but no, she's still an Imperial, but she realized, and she even says this in the show, that once I realized what they really were, I started to fight back. And so they've kind of set up this Jedi underground railroad on all these different planets, and they kind of
Quinlan Voss shout out,
which is very interesting. Quinlan
Okay,
Voss,
let's go over all the things that were mentioned.
so yeah, Quinlan Voss is part of this path. Where I think we're gonna go is Obi-Wan's. He's burnt up. He's burnt to a crisp. He is not only battered mentally, he's battered physically, and I think they're gonna take him to this sort of Jedi sanctuary where they reassign names to the Jedi and kind of let them kind of continue to live their lives in secret. And I think he's going to run into Quinlan Voss.
No, because we know Quinlan's dead at this point.
He's not
Yeah,
dead.
he died in
Dark Disciple.
In Dark Disciple.
No, I thought she literally said that
she said at one point he came
from
here.
Point.
Quinlan died in Dark Disciple, which is way before this.
Yeah.
Well, why was he using the Jedi Underground Railroad if he died during the Clone Wars still? Or is Dark Disciple after?
Dark Disciple's that weird bridge of, I think it's going to get retconned into being right after Order 66.
Okay. I stand corrected. I did not know that. But my opinion still stands where he's going to be taken to this Jedi sanctuary. And I think he's going to
say he's dead. Her direct quote is, "Yeah, he helps now and again smuggling younglings."
That's what I mean. I thought that
on that.
Yeah, I thought that meant that he was still alive.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you. So now I'm going back on my thing of how does this actor look nowadays?
I was gonna say, who's playing Quinlan Voss in the next episode? So whether he runs into him or not,
one of the sabers you can vote for.
Right? That's a good point. But no, I think he's gonna again get taken to this Jedi sanctuary. He's gonna get healed. I think he's gonna maybe run into Quinlan Voss. I know I've been screaming, Cal in this show, but if Cal's going to be anywhere, it's going to be here. He's going to be in this sort of Jedi sanctuary where they can kind of rest up and, have a place to stay. And if they choose, get new identities and go off in the galaxy, continue living their lives. So I think that's where Obi-Wan's going next week. I don't know if you guys agree, but that's kind of where I'm at. And then once he is fully healed up, I think he'll start to retrust the Force again after talking to some other Jedi, and he's going to realize, hey, I need to try to go save Anakin one more time. And then that leads us into the finale.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
I 100% agree with you. And I think, again, this is what makes Return of the Jedi Luke so much more better, because you're right, Toby. I think he's going to be like, I can try to save Anakin one more time. He's going to try, and it's going to fail. And he's going to say, okay, he's so far gone, we're done. And then this is where it makes Luke's arc so much better, because
it's more relatable in Empire as well, because you see Vader, or you see Obi-Wan and Yoda being like, no, stop, don't go.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
we tried.
We tried.
Yeah,
but
we
that's
tried.
the line that's missing. Can we get like the no? I tried. You can't do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then also too, it sets up what we see in New Hope with Obi-Wan when he does fight Vader. Like, he doesn't even think, oh,
I got a shot.
Yeah, let me try to save you, or let me try to beat you. He just is like, I'm I'm good with this.
I'm here
Like,
to
I'm
distract you so that so that Luke and Leia and Han can escape. That's
Yeah.
was his job. He
Yeah.
was not there to win the battle.
But it does make it kind of ridiculous. So that Obi-Wan was chilling with both his kids on Death Star. Now it's like, just let you know.
But no, I love though, because that's going to add so much more weight to A New Hope, like you said. But
it does, absolutely, it does.
In a different way, because I love how, you know, before Obi-Wan gets killed by Vader in A New Hope, he looks over, he sees Luke and Leia together for the first time. Right, he's had all of these adventures with Luke watching over him as he's grown up. Now we know that he's had this whole other adventure with Leia, so he sees both of them together. He's at peace. He has done what he was supposed to do, and then he can become one with the Force. So that I'm getting chills just thinking about that.
Yeah,
I love
100%.
To follow up on the chills, like it really gives backbone to this idea in Star Wars that the Force really can connect and open roads that were previously thought to not exist. Because if you think about it, you're like, well, Vader should be able to sense Leia, like right there, right? Like just this tiny Force ball of energy, right? Like she's behind a metal door. But no, he does not know she exists. Therefore, there's no link between them. And Obi-Wan's link was closed as well. So when you see Obi-Wan's open back up immediately at the end of episode 2, that's where shit begins to happen. And that's where this flood of shit happens to go down. Because then even it's the same shit in the comics where Vader is hunting down the pilot that destroyed the Death Star, not knowing it's Luke Skywalker. Same way that they just kidnapped the Princess of Alderaan, not knowing that it's Leia.
And
he's so
does repeat itself in all of these genius ways.
And he's so full of hate. He doesn't stop to think.
Why is Obi-Wan here?
Yeah, like, and if he stops and but that's what the dark side does to you. You're just on a mission. Like, I'm just trying to destroy this dude. If he stopped and think, well, why did Obi-Wan wait? Why is he here? Oh, he's running around with this other girl.
You know, like just do your job. Don't think.
Yeah, and then if you looked at Leia, he'd be like, "Oh shit, you look like your mom." Oh
right?
Shit,
yeah. I love how careful they are being about that. Because
right?
Vader,
like would he not have had like a full wall of like project? Like if he had like a bridge, you know, like if he had a bridge on a ship,
Right.
he couldn't have had like security footage from Dayu, which like I know they say there's no tracking feed and all that shit where they were saying there's no signal in Dayu and all that. I don't buy that. I think Vader could have found a security camera or two to see that he was traveling with a kid. I think that would have been like this. I don't know. Here's an interesting question. Do we think Vader ever finds out about Leia? I don't know.
We know no.
No.
Return of the Jedi. Not until Return of the Jedi.
No. He finds out. He sees her in New Hope. Remember, he sees her in New Hope.
He doesn't know that that's his daughter.
No. I don't think that's no.
He knew her name, and he never knew where she went. So I get you.
No. I actually, Colin, I agree. I think he has there's gonna be a second in this show where he meets Leia, because in New Hope, remember they meet right in the beginning of the episode or in the movie.
Lord Vader, only you could be so cruel.
And that's what I'm saying. And she knows about Vader, so they had to have some kind of interaction, or they know about each other.
But he doesn't know that is his child, though.
No. He won't know that. He will not know his child.
That's what Toby was asking.
That was my caveat. I didn't get in. That was my caveat. I just meant like, will they see each other and it will follow back to what we were just talking about. I think
for a second.
Of what you want being right in front of you and not knowing it's what you want.
Yep. Because Vader knows who Leia is, right? She's the Princess of Alderaan. Bail is still one of the important senators at this point, you know, in the galaxy, where senators are still a thing and still have at least somewhat of a say.
He might be unaware of her, but now he's definitely
right. But he doesn't know that that's his child, and that brings up another great thing.
Ooh, what if they go search for Bail's brother to find out? Like, that's not.
But What I was gonna say is that in Revenge of the Sith, they bury Padme with a belly to make it look like she was still pregnant. So everyone who watches that funeral as it's broadcast across the galaxy is that, oh, Senator Amidala was pregnant and her babies died with her, right? As another means of hiding Luke and Leia from not only Vader and the Emperor, but from the entire galaxy. And that just brings us full circle about why Obi-Wan was there to protect Luke, because he knew how important he was. And that's why he got off the planet to go save Leia, because he knows how important she is. Right. So I love all of these connections.
I disagree with you there. I disagree. I think Bill guilt tripped him because, and why Obi-Wan believes planning to go save Leia is the guilt trip of Padme and the guilt trip that he failed Anakin.
Sure, but he also knows how important she is, and that the Emperor specifically cannot find out Leia and Luke exist.
I think he has more of like,
I agree.
You fucked up. Oh, well, would you come help me if Luke left? I think he kind of has that kind of like resentfulness of, I've been cooped up in a house by myself for 10 years, and the first time you come and talk to me is when you need something. You know, like.
But that's his daughter, though. That's his daughter. Like, I totally get his perspective. For him to leave Alderaan, go to Tatooine, be like, please, I'm begging you, go
like
my
2
daughter.
seconds.
You're the only person I can trust. And he says that. Like, Obi-Wan, you're the only person I can trust for this. And Obi-Wan knows that, too. And I think it would have been very, very, very selfish of Obi-Wan to be like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to watch the boy. The girl can take care of herself.
Can I talk about the Jedi names on the wall? Because we saw, I was able to like Arabish decipher a few.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Who'd you get?
So, Valen Halcyon, or Hal Horn, as he was called, is a character from either older comics or one of the older books. They mentioned Jabeam as the planet that they're going to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is from one of the old 2003 Clone Wars comics. It was kind of like, it was a place where a lot of Jedi died. It was not a victory for the Republic. It was a victory for the Separatists. So interesting that they're going to go back there. I wonder if there's anything like this is like, it's heavy in Force energy because all these Jedi died here. You know, it could be something having to do with like, you know, could be something like that. Other names, we had Ragunda Ismer, who's a character from Children of the Jedi, if anybody remembers that book. Big throwback. And then, yeah, Quinlan Voss, and the quote of Quinlan of, only when the eyes are closed can you truly see.
Speaking of Quinlan Voss, this is from the canon side of the Wikipedia page. He is alive. During the final days of the war, Voss moved his Republic troops to Boz Pitti. After the fall of the Jedi Order, Voss survived the Great Jedi Purge along with his new lover, Colleen Hence, and was amongst those in the Galactic Empire presumed to have survived and thus targeted to hunt down.
Because also in the Vader comics, when Vader is searching for Padme's grave, he does the whole, like, I'm about to try to actually bring you back to life shit. He fights a bunch of Jedi in a vision, and one of them is Quinlan. Quinlan, Plo Koon, and Kiade, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
I just love how specifically it's Quinlan, right? Like, they didn't have to mention his name. Like, he could have
they didn't have to put his saber in the voting for New Galaxy.
No, I think there's a good chance.
Where is this voting?
Oh, I'll send it to you. I sent it to Kobe. I'll text it to you.
I think there's a very good chance Quinlan Voss shows up in the next episode and will be sort of a mentor to Obi-Wan to kind of get his ass in gear. Like, hey, you need to come back. You need to start trusting the Force again. You need to open yourself back up. And I think we might have a mini like Jedi training montage where he gets
Padawan Caleb, dude. We buried the lead.
Yeah, no, that's what Toby and I've been voting.
It's gonna win. If it doesn't win, I quit.
I'm just saying that, like, the fact that we're getting Quinn. Toby and I are not happy about that one.
No.
Can we talk about how bad Obi-Wan looked with the lightsaber? Like,
And I
good
think that
God,
was-
man! Did you not practice everyone's? Well, he
He's
buried him.
rusty.
He did bury him. He buried
I
him.
would
Yeah,
play
he looked
golf
rusty
with
as
him. I'm
hell.
not rusty.
He's rusty. He
Yeah,
hasn't been in the
he
ring
looked
in 10
rusty
years.
he looked really
And
rusty.
I love that because if Obi-Wan
sitting
would have
there with
showed
that
up
pro
just
droid
swinging
he's
it
fighting.
around being the Jedi we know, it wouldn't be consistent with the character that we've
Oh,
seen these 3 episodes.
Toby,
it made
tell
perfect
me,
sense.
tell me after 10 years if they would have pulled out the Revenge of the Sith lightsaber duel with old Ben Kenobi and Anakin swinging those things, people would have lost their mind, but like, what the hell? This guy
Right.
hasn't touched a lightsaber in 10 years. He looked like he didn't, like, there's like in the second episode and he did in this episode, he's holding it. He doesn't even look like he knows how to hold it correctly.
Dude,
he's like
scared.
he's like holding it
scared
with
out of
two
his mind.
hands.
Some of his back to like, I mean, it's
PTSD.
not being fully
Yeah.
one with the Force, and you
Yeah.
have to be to wield a lightsaber. You
Right.
cannot, because of the way the Kyber crystal works and the way we talked about it connects to you. It is yours, and unless you trust it, and unless you trust your abilities, it's not going. I mean, it's kind of like a wand in a sense, where it's like it's going to let you down. It's going to be heavy, kind of like the Darksaber was heavy for Din when he tried to carry it. I saw a little bit of similarities with that.
Yeah, that's a
The
good
lack
catch.
of confidence, and
But
that lack of confidence really hindered his ability to make a move at all. Like, bro did not have a move.
Not a
No.
damn move.
He
He
did not.
did not. His move was, 1, I'm gonna
Run.
light my lightsaber in the dark. 2, I'm gonna continue to walk around the dark with my lightsaber on guard.
But the way he even like Colin, even the way he was holding it, like you said, like how he lit it up and he's like freaking out, like he looked horrible.
It looked like
which
I
was
would have
great.
if Vader was coming
Yeah.
to me, and I had
Like
a
if you had a
lightsaber.
real lightsaber, if all of us had real lightsabers, that's how we would look like. He looked like he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
It was
and
very
awesome.
it was very reminiscent of Rey in The Force Awakens when she first starts fighting Kylo. It's literally block, run away, and then
Yeah.
block another one, run
now-
away. That was this.
It's like me in a video game.
Yeah, right.
Me
And
and
Toby,
Toby,
that was
when I
enough.
first started.
And that was another thing too. He kept running away. Like we have not known Obi-Wan up to this point to ever run from a fight. Like he jumped down from the rafters, and there's thousands of freaking
know that.
troops
He
around
ran
him.
from Utapau.
Sure, I don't even know what that
Hell
means.
up out of there. He's like, I'm not taking on a whole clone squad. Oh hell
Yeah,
no.
but-
He
But,
chooses
like-
his battles carefully.
Yeah, but he looked horrible, and I like that little detail that because it feeds into the PTSD that he's like he failed everybody, he failed Anakin, he failed Qui-Gon, he failed all these people, and now he's like, what do I do? Like even he's not even trusting himself. Like when Leia gives him the talk of, you got to trust people that are willing to help you. Like he doesn't even do that. Like he's like he's and like if you think about it, as a Jedi Master, how would you forget a kid's name that you told him to lie about? Like you wouldn't do that. He's so messed up in the head that Leia, oh shit, I forgot you told me another name, and then when he sees Vader, like when Vader shows up, he like has this like an anxiety attack, and then when he sees him, he's like, oh shit, And then, now he does the right thing by trying to get Vader away from the people, which was nice, but in no shape or form was he ready to fight Vader. And I love that. I love that little detail that they did with that, because they were able to show that, like, even like how Fleece says, Kenobi, you're just a man. Like he really is just a man. He just has these powers that he's able to use, and Vader is this chilling, menacing. Like I love whatever at the end of Rogue One and this show, they have made Vader, I think, more menacing ever.
Oh, yeah.
Like he is just like when he snapped that kid's neck. I must keep going back there. He snapped the damn kid's neck. That's some fucked up shit. Okay,
Dude, on Disney Plus, a little
On Disney-
boy
Dead ass, bro.
had his neck snapped. But no, I want to go back to Obi-Wan real quick. I love the interaction with him, and is it Tara or Tala? Maybe it's Tala. But she's like, she says like, Obi-Wan doesn't. I can't see Obi-Wan making mistakes, and he says it's Ben now, and Ben is not just his new name. This is his identity. Like Obi-Wan is no longer Obi-Wan. He has been just this man who works at a meat shop and watches over this little boy because he feels like that's that's his life now. That's what he has to do with the rest of his life. Like Obi-Wan, the Jedi Master, like you said, should no longer exist. And we see that in this episode. And so now that adds so much more to, again, the original trilogy where Luke is calling him Ben. Again, that's not just his name. That's who he is, right? And then I think in the rest of these episodes, he's going to rediscover himself as Obi-Wan and have that identity back as Obi-Wan, but still have the name Ben to keep his secret so that the Empire doesn't find Luke, right? So.
Actually, I disagree with you, Toby. I think he finds his identity as Ben. I think he loses the identity of Obi-Wan and finds the real Ben Kenobi, the guy that is still a Jedi, but he's protecting Luke. And he's at peace with that. Because when we see him in New Hope, he's very at peace. And he's not worried. He's not anything. In this one, it's like he's every little thing. He's like, don't do that, Leia. Oh, shoot, they're going to see us. Oh, he's worried about every little thing. And I think what this series does is it eliminates Obi-Wan Kenobi and introduces us to the Ben Kenobi we know in New Hope, where he's at peace. He knows his mission. He knows what he's supposed to do. He knows who he's supposed to protect, and he knows where he's going, and he's at peace with everything. Like, again, he's going to be by the end of this series, he's going to be at peace with Luke, with Anakin gone. He no longer cares about Anakin. He knows that Darth Vader took over. Like, I think there's even a where Yoda says it, where Darth Vader has taken over Anakin. Like, he eventually gives into that and says, okay, Anakin's gone. There's nothing I can do about it. My focus is Luke, keeping Leia safe and not making sure nobody knows about that, and keeping Luke safe. You know, that's what, you know, if you go back and go by what they said in the original trilogy when he talks, because we know that they didn't see all this in the future when they made these movies. So some of the dialogue, you're like, well, why would they say that? Come on, like you gotta use your fucking head.
Yeah.
It was 1980.
The only pushback I have on the Ben thing, Shug, it's like if that is the case, then whenever they meet up, he's like Obi-Wan. He's like, actually, it's Ben now. Like, you know,
no, I don't think
Vader to have that combo.
I don't think they're gonna. I think you're right. Vader's gonna call him Obi-Wan. He's not gonna respond. He's not gonna go. Oh, no. My name's Ben now.
Okay.
Well, in a new hope, right?
That's like my worst nightmare of like them like taking time to discuss what to call each other. It's like, oh, you're gonna call me Vader now. I'm not
Annie anymore. Call me Vader. Okay. Well, I'm not Obi-Wan. Call me Benjamin.
3 hours later. All right, let's do this.
Well, it's funny in A New Hope because, you know, Luke calls him, R2 was looking for Obi-Wan, and he's like, Obi-Wan, that's a name I've not heard in a long time. And he makes it sound like that was like 30, 40 years ago, when in reality,
10 years ago, 10 years.
19 in the first place.
Yeah, but 10 years, that's kind of a lot. Like,
I mean,
if we change your name, if we change your name from Toby to something else, and for 2 years we called you that name, you'd be like, I haven't heard Toby in a while.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I get it.
But again, it doesn't matter.
It
doesn't bother me at all. I just find it
no. But a lot of people are complaining about that. Oh, well, you know,
there's some suspension of disbelief here, like you said. Like we are making so many stories and different timelines. It's not going to add up perfectly like a puzzle.
Yeah, well, it's like Leia. Leia probably heard someone call him Obi-Wan Kenobi, but she never connected the dots. No, they're going to probably explain it as she just never heard him get called Obi-Wan. She always knew him as Ben.
Bail tells her off screen because Bail sends her to Obi-Wan.
But you would make the connection that Ben and Obi-Wan are the same.
No, see, I think she knows. Like in A New Hope, when Leia sends that message to Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. I think she knows that that's the man who saved her when she was 10 years old. But that story and that relationship doesn't matter in the context of her message to Obi-Wan. Like her message to Obi-Wan, and that is like, please come help my father.
That's a one-line text. All right, we don't have time for like 6 lines of text in a text message. Okay, like we got time for one. So get your shit straight, and she did.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And she only had a limited amount of time to send that message anyway, because Vader and Stormtroopers Toby right on her back.
Yeah, Toby, she should have asked her, like, remember that time when I was like 10 and we chilled?
Yeah.
You know, and you came and protected me. Oh, by the way, you fought with my dad in the war. Yeah, like I need your help. No, like
we don't have time for that.
let's
Ooh, what a
let's
double
just be
entendre that is. Years ago, you fought beside my father in the Clone Wars. He's like, you're damn right I did.
Mhm.
and I saved your ass too.
I saved your ass too.
See, again, this looks funny when you think about it. When Obi-Wan saw that message, and he could have just looked at Lucas, hey, that's your sister. I left your ass here, and I went to go save her.
Right, and it's actually it's funny you mentioned that, and this again adds more weight and awesomeness to the show and Star Wars in general. But in the from a certain point of view book for Empire Strikes Back, I think there is a chapter from the perspective of Yoda. And Yoda and Obi-Wan are talking. And essentially Yoda is saying to Obi-Wan, like, I wanted you to bring Leia to me to train. I didn't want you to bring Luke.
Right.
Like Yoda saw so much more potential in Leia for some reason. It's been a long time since I've read that chapter. But basically, like, Luke is asleep and Yoda and Obi-Wan are just having this conversation. And he's like, why'd you bring him? Why didn't you bring his sister? Like, I wanted to train his sister. And I find that very interesting that Yoda
Toby
saw so much more potential in Leia, right?
Yeah, and you bring up from a certain point of view. Does that conversation now look more like people always complained about that in Empire? Oh, well, when Obi-Wan says from a certain point of view, like now it makes a lot of sense that he did not want to tell Luke about his sister, Luke to tell him about Vader, because how do you tell a kid, I cut your dad's legs off. Your dad killed a bunch of kids.
Your dad's not a good person.
And the reason why your mom's not alive, he choked her.
Right. Yeah, that's not something that you can just kind of slide into a conversation.
Yeah, like it makes more sense now that why he wouldn't tell Luke right off the bat. Like why he tell Luke this young Jedi betrayed us and killed everybody. His name was Vader. He killed everybody.
Mm-hmm. Makes
sense now. You're like, oh yeah, I get why he didn't tell Luke about his dad being Vader or that his sister
in the script, they thought Darth was his first name because Obi-Wan calls him Darth.
Right. Yeah, that's something that people again like don't like to talk about and bring up is the real world issues with the story because we just didn't know. George did not know that Leia and Luke were siblings until he sat down to write Return of the Jedi. And that's just the way it is, and that's okay, right? Like,
I mean, it's a great. I mean, it was one of the greatest Empire's one of the greatest plot twists ever. Jedi, a lot of people love Jedi. Like I love Jedi. It's
a true rewatch movie.
It's very cheeky, but I love it. It's a good movie. But Empire, like that swerve, good God, that swerve that was equivalent to Tobey Maguire and freaking Andrew Garfield showing up in No Way Home.
Except we all knew that was going to happen.
To tell us it was going to happen.
Could you Star Wars like that Empire couldn't get made today?
No.
Because everyone would have been on top of it. Oh, did you hear Vader is Luke's dad? Oh, that's so stupid. Oh my God, why would they do that? Like that was the greatest swerve ever. Like the best.
Nothing will ever top it. I think maybe I See Dead People like that.
That's pretty good.
Whole
swerve.
thing is as close as you can get to that. But no, in today's internet, Vader being Luke's dad would have leaked, a year before the movie came out. It's just the way it is. But we have gone.
Can we talk about these lightsabers for a second?
I was gonna say these lightsabers are the brightest and the loudest that I've seen
since A New Hope, and I loved it.
Is that what you were gonna say, Colin?
Oh no, I totally wanted to talk about the lightsabers from Galaxy's Edge, but
completely different thing.
That scene though, when they have that far shot of Anakin or Darth Vader and
on TV. I said I didn't wait 20 years for a fucking wide shot zoom in.
I loved it. No, I thought it was how dark.
No, but it looks beautiful. But I didn't wait 20 years to see a fucking
but then the payoff, Colin, with the other shot is where Obi-Wan's kind of on. Well, I don't know if it's when he's on his one knee, but when Vader force pushes him after just freaking beating his ass with the lightsaber, he like force pushes him. There's like a shot where they're like this, and it's beautiful because like Vader is dark red, the blue's kind of shining on Obi, and then he just force pushes the shit out of them.
I found a great
And-
moment where the Disney snipers were inactive. I think I sent this interview to you guys last night from Bro Bible on or some site like that on YouTube, where Hayden and Ewan were doing that agree or disagree table.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's good.
And Ewan said something like, "Yeah, when Vader walks up to me, it's really scary." And I'm like, "Fucking spoilers, dude! Like, holy shit!"
Ewan has said
days
that
ago.
story. Ewan's told that story so many times during this press run, where he's like, "Yeah, I'd never acted with Vader before because Anakin wasn't Vader yet in Revenge of the Sith. So like, I'm doing this scene and I'm ready to go, and he turns around and Vader's right in front of him, and he legitimately got scared."
He's
Because
fucking terrifying.
Vader's
I don't know. I don't know how old are you, Toby?
24.
He's the
24,
youngest.
and then I think Colin's close to my
28.
age. Colin, you're like
About to be 28.
Yeah, I'm a
27.
young.
Okay, so I'm old. So I'm old as fuck. I remember when the prequels came out and how much shit Hayden Christensen got. I love the fact that how much love he's getting right now. That I appreciate more of that more than anything, because
It's
they
great.
gave him the business. When episode 2, when he was creeping on Padme, oh, he got the
It's called bad
business.
direction, folks. He
Yeah.
executed.
Yeah,
It's
not,
all-
Go back
not
up.
his
Hold
fault.
on. Go back and watch those movies. They ain't that bad. I think we're too critical of those movies. Those,
No.
they
we're
set
saying
up a
the-
lot of
the
good stuff.
Direction, the direction is bad as well.
But it makes sense to who he is. It makes sense. I like it.
No, we're saying George Lucas is well known for not
George
being
Lucas
a good
was
director.
a terrible director to those two.
I've heard, yeah. Well, obviously,
That's what we're talking about.
obviously, look at Empire. He didn't direct it, and Empire is one of the best. So I get that. But I'm saying he got so much hate from those movies. To see him get into love and people wanting him back, that's one thing I do like about Star Wars fans. They gave him the love that he's getting now, and they want him back. Doing the show.
I mean, I hate to be pessimistic about it, but I think all the people who gave him shit were the same people who gave Ray shit and are gone.
Yeah.
They're out. They are done with Star Wars. So the only ones left.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. Have you been seeing? Have you been seeing these tweets and shit?
I'm really talking about like when it comes to like. No, you're right. It's different. It's different. Those people were harshing on him because he was not what they wanted, not because of who he was.
Yeah.
Different.
But you gotta
these fans who didn't have a voice in 2002 with no social media. I mean, I saw Attack of the Clones over 12 times in theaters. I was fucking hooked. My parents were also going through a divorce, and I can make anybody take me to the movies that I wanted to. And I was just all in. I was just like absolutely obsessed, and I loved Hayden. So I was in. I thought he was great. I thought the sand thing was a bit weird, but other than that, like he was great. And then
I always enjoyed him.
Gets shit on for no reason because it's attached to 1 and 2. But 1, I think it obviously goes 3, 1, 2, and the gap between 1 and 2 is much wider than the gap between 3 and 1.
I actually like 2 a lot. More than 1.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not saying I don't like it.
No, but I'm saying
right.
like I don't look at those movies and go, ugh. Like I more look at like Jedi and do that. I'm like, ugh. Like I like Jedi, but ugh. 3, I actually like it. I used to love watching that. Like I haven't sat down and watched 3 or 2 and 1 and God knows how long. It's been a minute, which I should probably do. But I like Hayden. I agree with you on that. I like Hayden, but yeah, I just like that he's getting his flowers finally, and people, he was at Celebration. He said the stuff like when he says this is where the fun begins, and they damn near like ride it.
That's so
like
good.
People took the shirt off and were ready to throw him at him. Yeah, like it was just great.
That was a moment.
A bottle of champagne.
It was a great moment. It was a great moment. Like, and he did it like maybe they had it planned, but the way he did it was like it
he also fucking way he watched those animated shows. He skirted around that question like a fucking professional. No way.
No, I think he did. I think he did because he has a daughter.
I'll be real honest. He had no fucking idea who Ashley Eckstein was.
I think he did. I think you're not giving him enough credit.
Bro, and then
I think you're not giving him enough
even
credit.
call her Snips after he said Sky Guy. Like, bro's got no fucking idea.
Hayden is also very like he's kind of awkward. Like he does not love the press, and I mean for right reasons after what he went through with the prequels and stuff. He doesn't
didn't
like
hear him
doing
say one
interviews.
thing that made me
He
think
is
he
so
watched those shows.
kind and he is so respectful to the press, but you can just tell he's not comfortable doing it.
Yep.
And I think when he went up on stage for the Attack of the Clones panel, which was a big surprise, him and Ewan showing up and seeing Ashley Eckstein there, I think there was just so much going on. He just didn't even realize who it was. Right. So he definitely
Still
knows
going
who
back to my
Ahsoka
point of
is.
no fucking way he watched those animated shows.
I think he did.
No
think he
way,
did.
dude. Did you watch that interview when they talked to him about the shows? He skirts around, like when they ask, is there a moment? He cannot give a single moment from those shows. If he watched them, he could have had an answer.
I mean, maybe. But
Maybe.
maybe he had him on in the background and his daughter was watching him. Maybe he watched a couple episodes or a couple of like the
He
bigger
knows who Matt
arcs.
Lancer is, though. They've met.
Right. So he knows the Clone Wars. I'm telling you. And he's gonna be in Ahsoka. Like that's happening. So he needs to understand that relationship. So I think he's done his homework.
I just didn't seem like he was very I don't think he expected like to be the main attraction this weekend. And
He was very much the main attraction. Everybody was.
I mean, Ewan is
I've
the
seen.
star. Like Ewan is the one on
Yeah.
the poster, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but he's been
everyone-
talking about this shit on Jimmy Kimmel for the last 5 years.
that's true.
Yeah,
I still
We've
wanna
had
see
a
Hayden
Ewan
act.
McGregor Obi-Wan story like 100 more times than we've had a Hayden Christensen Darth Vader story if we want a Darth Vader show.
Which we actually talked about today.
Yeah. So Toby. So we'll finish with this. Christian, like you can say Hayden hasn't read or watched Clone Wars, but you can tell he's read the comics. He brought up the one specific run of Vader that takes place right after episode.
I'd honestly
3.
rather him have read the Vader run by Soul and what was the first run by?
Trying to
Kilman?
remember.
I mean, I literally own it, and I don't know who wrote it. But the Charles Soule one is the one that is right after Revenge of the Sith,
Yes.
Correct.
where he builds Vader's castle on Mustafar. Like that whole run is.
dude,
that's
that
Charles
fucking
Soule.
castle looked dope. I lived there.
It's so
That castle
sick.
was
It's
dope
built
as
on
hell.
an
It's so cool.
too.
Oh, I would have been having you guys over for barbecue. Would have been some
Karen-
bomb ass barbecue.
Some
Ah,
Nacho
It's
wrap.
Kieran Gillen. Kieran Gillen is the
Kieran
one who did
Gillen.
the original
Thank you.
Vader.
Dude,
Not Karen Gillan, who
Kieran.
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 No, that one's good too.
It is.
played. Oh, it is good. That's basically when he finds out that Luke is his
He's alive.
son, and he was the one who blew up the Death Star.
And
He
that's
sends-
the introduction
goes
of
to try
Dr.
to hunt him
Aphro's
down.
in issue 4 of that.
Yes, but no.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
give me an adaptation of that Soul run. You got Ian McDermott. Give me that, and then throw in a little bit of Lords of the Sith right there.
And then you know
Ooh.
what you could throw in there?
Ooh,
You could throw in some Champs and Dula.
that's what I said. Throwing that Lords of the Sith right there. Ooh,
I mean, I texted and I
After the
you know,
show.
you tweeted at me, and I basically said like I don't need it, to be honest. And my reasoning, like I said at the beginning of the show, is that I like how little of Vader we've gotten. Every time he's been on screen, it's
you
been
can
impactful.
say that, but at the end of the day, what you have to keep in mind is not everybody is going to go in and read those comics and
Mhm.
read that book.
Right.
So to be able to see those emotional moments on screen and have someone like Shug, who isn't a big Star Wars fan and would tune in for something like a show like that, that's what the big selling point is to them. And that's what, like, I'd love to see that moment where he visits where he visits Padme's grave.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. It's just, yes.
Could you imagine
Give me-
that's the ending scene of this series?
No, Shug, it's happened, and that's the thing.
Already happened.
That's what I'm talking about. It's happened in a comic that takes place literally right after Revenge of the Sith. It picks up from Vader screaming no and being on that bridge of the Star Destroyer, and it's about his journey of building his lightsaber, accepting the dark side.
Throttling Inquisitors on a daily basis.
And it's one of the most brilliant things. And then he goes and visits Padme's grave.
He tries
it's
to bring Padme
heartbreaking.
back from the dead. Like that's
Literally.
the first arc of that comic is him literally building the castle, building this monument in the dark side to try to bring Padme back to life.
And Shug,
bonkers.
as someone who isn't in the Star Wars, so you're not reading the comics or reading the books, wouldn't you prefer to see that?
I read the books. I read the books when I thought Force Awakens was going to be
I just mean
like
like
twins.
I'm talking about the new canon, the newer books, like this new. So you haven't read Lords of the Sith. You're not reading the comics.
No.
Wouldn't you rather see something like that than be told go read this comic or go read a book?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
And that's my point. For someone like you who you're like, oh, I want to see Vader, making that show make sense, and especially if Hayden wants to and he knows the material like he was just talking about, I'm all for it.
Toby, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Because there was a line in the show, and I just wanted you to kind of fill me in, where the lady, the one that's the Imperial, but she's on the Jedi side, Tala. She says, they hunt you down if you're Force sensitive, even the kids. And they go, well, what happens to them? They go, we don't know. They're taken away and we never see them again. Are those kids becoming the Inquisitors?
Yes.
Some of them are, yes. So in Fallen Order, we see that specifically happen with Trilla. So Seer is a Jedi very much like Obi-Wan, where after Order 66, she shuts herself off from the Force and becomes basically, just a regular old person in the galaxy, just trying her best to survive. And the reasoning is because her Padawan was captured by Vader and tortured and turned into an Inquisitor. So it's actually kind of interesting now that I think about it, the parallels between Seer and Obi-Wan. Like, they're very, very similar, and I find that very interesting. And part of one more thing, part of Fallen Order is there's this holocron that the main character Cal has to find that has the names of all of the Force sensitive children in the galaxy, because the Jedi kept basically like an Excel sheet of all of the Force sensitive children in the galaxy, so that they could potentially recruit as Jedi. And they wanted to make sure that the Emperor never found this, because he would kidnap these kids and turn them into basically little Sith minions. So yeah, I think what she says there is that she doesn't know what happens to these younglings when they get kidnapped, but I would assume that the Empire's goal with them is to turn them into some type of an Inquisitor.
So we know that's
translated in the sequel trilogy, because we find out that the First Order is targeting Force sensitive children to be stormtroopers.
Okay, so we know that that's Revan's arc, that she was.
Revan.
I'm assuming Reva, is it Revan or Reva?
Revan is a different villain.
Yeah, Revan's
Reva. Reva. I am 1000% confident now after these 3 episodes. She was a youngling. I think she's the first youngling we see in that opening scene, and she gets kidnapped and turned into an Inquisitor. And I think she is very upset with Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan sends the signal to the temple for, Jedi, stay away from the temple, stay away, you're gonna die. And so she's sitting there and she sees that message and she's like, no one's coming here to save me. And so she gets captured and then turns into the third sister.
No, he's right on, bro. He's right on.
I disagree with you. I think she got away and she saw all of her.
Point. That's not
no, because there's a thing that the guy with the hat Inquisitor says. I call it a hat.
Fifth brother.
Wait, no. It's actually the Grand Inquisitor said it to her too. I think she gets away and sees all of her friends get killed, because the Grand Inquisitor tells her, you came to us.
But here's the thing. There's an age gap between her and a lot of the other Inquisitors, because the Grand Inquisitor was already a Jedi by the time he was turned.
He was actually one of the, he was
a
there when Ahsoka stands trial in the Clone Wars. So they're closer in their late 30 or whatever. Like, they're adults. So, she is definitely, 19.
No, I know that, but I'm saying I don't think they captured her. I think she came to them. I think there's a secret behind her that has to do with why she wants to find Obi-Wan. I think it's either like Toby. I think Toby's right that it's either rage that she's pissed off at him because they didn't come save her friends, or there's something else behind it. I think it's something else. I think
it's both. Sure. I think because there's definitely no way she's not going to hold that against Obi-Wan. We're going to see a scene that follows.
Because and obviously she knows.
I think it leads into him saying that she is just saying you came to us doesn't mean you actually came to us. Like, you could get adopted and be like, you came to this place,
but the way he said it to her and the way she reacted,
he's also just talking shit to her because he doesn't like her, so he's going to talk to her like a piece of shit.
Mhm.
Well, no, but he tells her that he tells her you're lower than us. There's
Because
something about that.
Piece of shit because she was a Jedi and like was brought in. That's the point. The Grand Inquisitor wasn't brought. He turned, and so did the fifth brother. There's all this other backstory with these guys that they weren't necessarily recruited to be Inquisitors. They were already the not best of dudes. It seems like she might have been the first young recruit who took to Inquisiting and actually completed, because there are stories of Vader chopping Inquisitors apart. He literally tortures these people so they can become the strongest versions of themselves. And it seems like she's come away rather unscathed than some of these other Inquisitors we've seen.
But see, that doesn't even make any sense, because the way Vader talks to her when he tells her, "I've been watching you," so that means they've never.
He literally trains them. He trains all of them.
Vader trains all of them.
No, but going off of comics and
did you?
He trains all of the Inquisitors.
I understand you're going off comics, but the dialogue in the show, he tells her, "I've been watching you. I know what you want." That's what I'm saying. It just seems there's something else.
That adds on to a concept, because Vader trains the Inquisitors. It's not like he trains them one-on-one. They're training in a group. He sees how hard that she's pushing herself, and that's why he's like, "I know what you want. I see how hard you're pushing yourself. If you do this, you get what you want."
She doesn't want Kenobi because she wants to kill Kenobi. She wants Kenobi because she wants to become the Grand Inquisitor.
And I think she hates Kenobi for the reason I said before.
Right. It all stacks on top of each other. Nobody's wrong here.
When it all plays out, one of us can come on here and be like, "I was right."
Just said none of us are wrong.
No, somebody's gonna be wrong.
No.
It'll probably be me, because I'm always.
It's probably going to be Colin. It's going to be Colin.
No, I'm always. I am always wrong about everything. Like, ask Matt. Last week, I got all my predictions.
You picked the Lakers to make the playoffs. Don't even come on here and start basketball with me.
I did pick the Lakers to make the playoffs. They did not make the playoffs. But that's a different show. That's tomorrow's show or Thursday show. I don't know when you guys do sports show.
Colin got busy.
Wait, how are you doing? How are you doing sports with your Warriors? Congratulations!
Because I just spent a massive emotional weekend with my baseball team losing in the conference tournament.
Colin,
one of the most emotional things I've ever went through.
How was that?
How
was that? Was it awesome?
Did you not just hear me say, shut up and listen to people talk? Stop talking before people are done talking.
I just asked you. I just said, was it awesome?
I just said it was terrible.
They lost.
They lost.
Oh,
Jesus. Wow. I'm out.
At least I'm
done. Can we talk about these lightsabers?
Anyway, yes. Let us wrap up on lightsaber talk as always.
Don't listen. We've been talking about these fucking lightsabers.
I don't. Don't listen. Go ahead.
Colin, yes.
Yes, I just want to talk about the lightsabers. I tried to pull up the picture. I'm trying to bring it up. I got it right here. Share screen. Window. Here. Bang. Okay. You guys think...
So something Toby and I noted is there's a lot less options this year compared to last year.
Okay, so let's really dig into these options, because, one, how long have we been talking about Barriss Offee as a possibility for this Ahsoka show? Like, how now we're talking about Quinlan Vos coming into this Obi-Wan show. We're now talking about that lightsaber. Where is Kanan's lightsaber, and where could it end up in the hands of, I don't know, maybe his son in the Ahsoka show, whose hand might have been on the table making the cup move in the trailer? I don't know. Sifo Dyas definitely coming back in the Tales of the Jedi. I bet we'll see some of that with Dooku.
Wow. Dude, you were dropping bombs that I did
not
even
consider.
Shit,
Toby, that's what I'm telling you, bro.
Dude, I did not consider any of this last week. I just thought these were just random Jedi lightsabers.
Got links to the Grand Inquisitor because she whooped his ass and wouldn't let him into the
Deepa Balaba was in Bad Batch. She was the first person we see die in the Bad Batch.
Yeah, then that's Kanan's master.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a full connection here, folks.
Listen, Kanan's gonna win.
Right? This is
Kanan will.
I don't know about this. Toby. I sent the link to a buddy thinking he was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, vote Kanan. And he's like, messing me up. He's like, I voted Sifo Dyas. It looks badass. I'm like, it looks like a penis.
It should not. I mean, yes,
they all look like penises, Matt. Literally, they all look like dildos. Like, just get over it. The only one that doesn't is the Darksaber.
No, I need Kanan to win. That's what I'm saying because I want to own it really bad.
So get this, Toby. You are not allowed to vote every day this year.
I will go to a different browser.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. But you can go to a different browser and it counts as a separate vote.
I'll go to a private
When
tab.
does this vote
Just keep
end?
going to private tabs.
It ends on June 10th.
So we got 10 days. So if you're listening,
9
two
days
people listening, go
9
vote
days
for
realistically.
Kanan Jarrus because I want to own it and add it to
And
my
if you don't
collection.
vote for Kanan, vote for Bear Selfie.
I wonder if Quinlan
just
Voss
looks like a naked Obi-Wan saber.
It looks like a mixture of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. That's the saber that I've always really cared for.
like if Quinlan
What's the
Voss
one on the
shows up
bottom
next
right?
week-
I like that one. I like that.
That's what
Those
we're
two bottom. So the two on the right, I like those.
So the bottom one, the Padawan Caleb Dune, that's Kanan's. That's
Yeah, I like that one.
That's the one we all want to win.
And then I like the one above it.
Cypher Diaz, that's on my buddy.
That's the guy who put the order in for the clone army.
Yep.
No, I'm glad you called that Tales of the Jedi story with him because I'm still not satisfied with the explanation we got in the Clone Wars about Sifo Dyas and the creation of the clones and Count Dooku
Never
taking over. But I didn't even know this. I don't remember who told me. Maybe it was Alex Damon. But that Sifo Dyas was a typo. Like it was supposed to be Sidious, but George put Sifo Dyas instead of Sidious. And he just ran with it. Like that's a thing that happened, and I find that
makes sense.
kind of
That makes
funny.
sense.
That's something George
What
would
an
do.
asshole.
Like it was supposed to be Sidious pretending to be a Jedi to create this clone army that he would later turn on the Jedi, but instead it was this Jedi that. Anyway, I hope we get a better explanation in that show. Anyway,
Is it Wednesday yet?
We can go for nearly 2 hours, Toby.
this is definitely the longest episode we've ever done.
I apologize.
No,
No,
you're
it's
fine.
fine. I had a blast. We talked about so much stuff. Like we covered way more than I thought we were going to cover.
I got a special way to end this one, by the way, so don't worry. I got you.
Okay. Do you want me to do my end of the
Yeah,
show
go
spiel?
ahead.
Okay. Everyone, please like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, follow Shug. He was our special guest today. Make sure you follow him on all of the socials. Follow us on social media if you wouldn't mind. Tell your friends. We do the show every week. We try to. We're being a lot more consistent with Obi-Wan being out and us talking about it every week. Celebration was a huge deal for us. Like I said, we did 5 hours of show last week, which was so much fun.
4 shows in 4 days.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We missed Colin. That was the biggest thing. But that's my
Almost
spiel.
called in from the hotel room.
That would have been fun.
I was gonna
But
get
you will
to
see
that.
us next week to break down Obi-Wan once again. I don't expect any news for a minute. So most of our shows going forward will be episode reviews. Obi-Wan leading into Andor, leading into Tales of the Jedi, Bad Batch, all that fun stuff. So make sure you guys look out for that. So Matt, you can do whatever we're going to do.
May the force be with you all. We'll see you next week.
Be trained like he trained his father.
It's ironic that Uncle Owen could roast others, but could not stop himself from being roasted.